Hey guys, Eric and Jim here. We're going to talk about the Mad Men series finale, final episode, full spoilers. If you haven't watched it, we're about to ruin it for you. Still with us? Okay. Let's go, Jim.
Why aren't we smoking during
Why aren't we
this?
smoking,
Yeah.
drinking? Certainly a nice, refreshing Coca-Cola.
Exactly.
Might be good.
By the world of Coke.
Rum and Coke.
I'm telling you, it was an interesting way to end that series. As I'm watching it, I'm like, what? Why is there so much emphasis on this hippy dippy new age stuff? Like,
Yeah.
even at the end, I'm like, does it end with Don basically becoming a Buddhist? Like, what is
Right.
going? And then just that transition into the Coke ad and that little smile on his face, it's so subversive and so brilliant. And you know, it took a couple of times of watching it to really appreciate the real genius behind that ending.
Yeah, same here, because I would, again, it's like, it just felt like the ending can't simply be Don Draper joins a commune and that's the last of it,
Yeah.
And just that simple transition into the commercial. And again, yes, they do not definitively tell us, and then Don wrote this commercial, but all the information is kind of there. We'll see. We're filming this on Monday right after the finale aired. I'm very curious, Matthew Weiner, how much, because of course he's going to be asked what he'll say, and I think he'll probably do the work speaks for itself ending. You know?
I mean, I've already read a couple of articles where, McCann Erickson really did do that commercial.
Yes.
They did that famous Hilltop Coke commercial, and the actual story about how it came about is not nearly as dramatic as a guy finding himself. They were just simply fogged in at Shannon Airport in Ireland. I think it was Shannon Airport. And, so it was, it's far less sort of soul searching, but it's, you don't know at the end, like, did Don go back to New York and here's his super pitch, or did he just call up Peggy again and be like, this one's for you?
Right. That's a possibility. Either way, I think we're supposed to think this was Don's idea, and I think he went back. I mean, I think ultimately, and this was a source of frustration I know for some people, is that we're watching a show about a guy who can't change fundamentally, And even that finale was him kind of repeating a lot of things that he'd done before. He goes once more, he tries to reconnect back to Anna, who's gone, but her niece is still around, Stephanie. Once more, he tries to become like the protector and savior of a woman in need. And he's offered, I'll move to LA, I'll take care of you financially. All the old Don Draper stuff.
Where does he keep getting money to hand out to people? He was like a pauper when he was left on the bus stop. I'm like,
we don't know how much he has left at this point.
And he still has enough like hooker money, basically, at one point. I'm like, Don,
he got some money from the McCann.
He never did. It took him a long time, though, to finally get that shave and shower that he was talking about.
True. But when he's at the end, it's like, this is a guy who, from the beginning of the show, it's about selling an image, reinvention. He created the Don Draper persona. That's not really who he is. So he took on, at the beginning of the finale, he's taken on sort of this greaser mechanic thing. By the end, he's in this commune and he's embracing it, but he still is who he is. And that's why I think of course he goes back to New York. It's like, because his true talent, his superpower is selling his image.
And by walking in other people's shoes, he understands more about how to reach different audiences. And it is kind of, it was a poignant ending, though, in a lot of ways, because I just the stuff with Betty and that scene, that image behind us, that to me is the scene that, even more than the ending, that telephone call scene really, when he says Birdie and they both choke up. I mean, come on.
That was a wonderful scene. The other part of that scene that was the gut punch was when she's like, don't come home. I want to keep things normal for the kids, and you coming back will disrupt normalcy. And you can see on his face, he's like, she's right. It's very sad but true that he is a non-presence in his kid's life more often than not. And it's almost like he has to kind of grimly accept that by the end. We know he loves his kids. It's like he will still be in his kids' lives and help them financially. But no, he probably will not help raise them day to day, because that's not who he is.
No, I mean, it's been interesting for me to, as the series has come to a close, to go back and revisit season 1 and to really see where these kids were at that point in their lives. Pretty pampered, happy little kids, and like, little Sally is just, she's like a baby, she's just running around, and she thinks he got her a pony and all that stuff. And then to see in the end where they're going to be left without a mother, their father's out of their lives. They do have to, in a way, I mean, they have to fend for themselves. You got old Bobby trying to cook dinner. and she's doing the dishes at the end. And I did think it was a sad but true thing to see just Betty still there smoking, because that's what happens. I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they didn't underline it, but on a show that kind of everyone joked about, everyone is constantly smoking. For her to get lung cancer and then at the end to be smoking literally till the end. I mean, we don't see the moment of her death, but we kind of know that's the last few weeks.
I mean, that was the thing, like the series always did. Initially, it was like it made Vice look fun.
Yeah.
But as it went on, you did see the consequence of just living a little too hard and just losing control.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, let's talk about the supporting cast a little bit, because if I had any criticism of the finale, it's an odd criticism, I know, which is, and I even know when I wrote my review that some people would be like, how can this be a criticism, which is too much closure. But it felt odd for Mad Men, which is a show with more ambiguity and a lot of like, we don't know where this is going. I was a little surprised by how much almost the entire supporting cast, the major supporting cast, I should say, got bows tied to a pretty good extent, you know, as far as like, you know, Peggy and Stan got like a romantic ending.
What did you think of that sort of? It was very much a movie moment of I love you, I love you.
Yeah, he runs to her office.
Yeah.
It took me out for a moment because it was so different than Mad Men. I think certainly these two characters, we love them, we saw their relationship. I think that it didn't come out of left field that they would have these feelings, but the way they did it was very un-Mad Men.
Yeah.
What made it work for me is Peggy's bigger story in the finale, which was her turning down the offer from Joan, because if she took the offer with Joan, everything would seem like a Hollywood movie ending.
Yeah.
Like, me and Joan started a company together, and me and Stan are a couple.
Yeah, it's like Laverne and Shirley moving to Burbank.
Right.
You know, and also, though, just the fact that she did get that final scene with Dawn over the phone, and to see from season 1 where she was this meat secretary and trying to find her way, and at the end he's the one who is completely vulnerable, and she's the one behind the desk with a bright future ahead of her. You know? It was to me, that was almost more of the closure than her and Stan. You know?
Yeah, but I also liked when Stan told her, like, don't take this offer from Joan for what would almost purely be status. Like, your name is your name on the door of a company where it's not doing what you want to do more important than how good you are at this job and how you've earned your place. And Pete kind of telling her, like, it'll probably take another 10 years because she's still battling against this sexist system, but she probably will ascend even further. You know, and he's right. You get that feeling, you know,
and him conceding that nobody will ever say anything nice in his parting. You know?
Right. So I really like those moments. I did think there's things like Roger's scene with Joan that I almost felt like I wish this was earlier in the season, because it felt more traditionally like series finale.
Well, I kept waiting for him to suddenly drop dead of a heart attack.
Right.
Because, you know, it was getting a little grim, but I did like his little rich bastard joke about his kid.
Oh,
you know?
Lots of great Roger one-liners. But it just felt like a little bit like, I was surprised at how many like happy conclusions we got on Mad Men. It felt a little uncharacteristic.
He even learned French a little bit, you know? He made an effort.
He did make an effort. But at the same point, it's like, you know, we do care about these characters, and I guess I was surprised it has optimistic, not everything for sure. Betty's not an optimistic ending, but there was more of an optimism to this ending than I thought Mad Men might give.
I thought, you know, a lot had always been made of people reading into the opening credits of a guy falling, like, oh, somebody's going to commit suicide. And it was really just more about a guy out of control. Yeah. You know? And yet, you know, you forget that it ends with him in control.
Back
you know?
in that spot.
And that's, I mean, it's a perfect kind of metaphor, really, for the entire series. What did you think, though, of essentially the way Don, he always was looking for something. Just love or running from his past. And did you feel like they ever adequately addressed that, or is he just still going to be a guy who's just kind of running in motion there? Like his moment with that guy in the support group where he basically heard an echo. And that, you know, how great a scene was it for this guy?
Right. He gets this
great
great
sell
monologue
that at the end of the series. Yeah.
I think that ultimately the ending is saying that Don cannot fix those problems, so maybe it's just him accepting those problems, right? Maybe it's accepting that I'm not going to be a great dad. I'll provide for my kids, but I won't be a great dad. and at the end, the inference being he will return to this life and what he's best at, you know?
Yeah.
And ultimately making a great soda commercial, is that bettering the world? I don't know, but he is making an impact on the world. He's made something that people already remembered without Mad Men reminding you. That's an iconic commercial that they've now written into the fictional Mad Men universe, you know? And so that's the question: is like, is that a deep enough? If you're Don Draper, maybe it is.
Yeah, you know? I guess you have a Coke and a smile. Wait, that's the wrong one.
Yeah, he'll come up with that one.
Although
later.
I'd like to think that Gene and Bobby grow up embittered by their estranged relationship with their father, and try to destroy his legacy by inventing new Coke.
Maybe you just pitch the sequel series.
There we go.
We'll see. So that's what we thought of the Mad Men series finale. Lots to think about, talk about as always with Mad Men. So let us know what you thought in the comments. Were you satisfied with the way it all wrapped up? Do you want a Coca-Cola as much as we do right now? For all things television and Mad Men, as much as we think about it now that it's over and we're mourning, keep it here at IGN.